Hey guys, it's Byron, and I want to kind of give you an outlay. I haven't done this for a while. Most of these pipes came off this 3-tier rack, and let's start out with the custom belts because that's what my dad and grandfather smoked, and these are those pipes. Now, this one, as far as I know, is the first one my grandfather bought. It's a 1929 custom built. So let's see, in 1929, he was born in 1879. Yep. So you can figure out the math there when he started smoking pipes, kind of late in life. But so anyway, this is what I call my heritage custom builds. And again, these were all smoked by either my grandfather or my dad. My grandfather died long before I was born, but he handed down all these pipes to my dad, and my dad smoked them for many years. My dad started smoking in 1936. He passed away in 1981, and he was still smoking his pipes faithfully, and he kept them pristine. You can see these pipes are absolutely immaculate. And again, like I said on the phone the other day, it's nice to know that I have more pipes that are older than me than pipes that are not older than me. Okay, but you can see the distinctive rustication on these pipes. There is a method to all these forms that they used to make out of Algerian briar. That's the briar that was available until about World War II, and then it became unavailable. So for you to get Algerian briar after 1945, it was quite rare. I don't know what the status of Algerian briar is today. But at any rate, you can see the interesting shapes. And all of these have been smoked by me. In 1972, July, my dad gave me these pipes. And I've taken care of them ever since. So, here's a pipe my grandfather smoked. This is a very rare pipe. This is a 1936 KBB Chesterfield. And you can see it's a grand pipe. I wish I had a picture of my grandfather smoking this puppy. Man, that would be a real find. But people didn't take a lot of pictures back then. You know, there were no video cameras and all that. So here's kind of a rundown of some of my K. Woodies and Dr. Grayboes. You can see there's a Dr. Grayboe Royale. That's a great smoking pipe. Now, some of these are from the 50s. The Grayboes that I've purchased are within the last 30 years. So, yeah. Beautiful pipes. Beautiful pipes. I had a friend who lives in South Carolina. He went to a Dr. Grayboe factory a few years ago and were able to get these unstamped Grayboes. They look like Royaltons, but I guess they were seconds. I don't see any second in them. They've smoked great. Isn't that neat? So I've got a couple of Grayboes that were sold through the factory before. I think once they classify them as seconds, they don't bother to stamp them, and they just sell them to people that come in. Here's some more. And I really, there's a Starfire from Grayboe. That's a nice pipe. This pipe is interesting. After my dad passed away in 1981, you know, and this was almost 20 years after he gave me the pipes you've seen over on the left, my sister found this one unsmoked. This is a Tom Howard, a very, very fine artisan. Anyway, this was unsmoked, and look at the rustication on that. That's kind of cool. So she sent that to me. I've smoked it many times. Now, in 1972, I didn't have pipe acquisition, whatever it is, because I had all these pipes my dad gave me, so I was busy on them. But I did buy a few. This is the first pipe I ever bought. I went into a Woolworths in 1972 in July, hot day. I was getting in there to get out of the heat, and I came across this little guy, and it was in a package. And I said, you know what, I'll try smoking a pipe. I'd watched my dad smoke a pipe. So darn if I didn't buy this thing. And this was my first pipe. And I keep it kind of in the, not the Hall of Fame, but here's another nice pipe display that I've got. So this dates back to 1972. And I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute. So let's take a look at, there's a GBD. This is a GBD I bought in 72. And buddy, I was working like the Dickens and still going to school. I was just a junior in high school. So that for me to have 35, 40 bucks at that time to buy a GBD, that was something. So, and now I've collected, not collected, I've bought these Savinellis all new. So you can see my Savinelli collection. I've got all the Gators, Savinelli Gators in different colors and different shapes. There's a pretty blue one and the green one. Brown, red. There's the red one. And there's a Savinelli Mocha. And Savinellis are great smoking pipes. I don't use the filter in them, but some people say it's the best way to smoke a Savinelli. That's the beauty of all this. It's all freedom of choice. You know, after almost 49 years of pipe smoking, I've only got 2 freehands. This is a Carl Eric, and this is a no name that I got unsmoked. And just a collection of beautiful pipes. You would think I'd have more than one Peterson pipe. I've got one. There it is right there. It's the only Peterson pipe I have. There's a Meerschaum Lion one that I bought. I thought that was kind of a novelty. And so I do have a few Meerschaums in my collection. Okay, so this takes care of part 1. I'm going to try to give you the best overview I can on them. And I will also make a YouTube video without audio, so you can just enjoy the view. We'll go one more time though. These are the pipes that belonged in my family. And missing from this collection are about 9 or 10 other pipes that were custom built that I've given to my sons for their collection. And one day when I kick the bucket, there's going to be a mad fight over these pipes, I'm almost sure. I haven't included them in any kind of estate or a will, but I'm sure my kids, well, kids, 33 and 37-year-olds sons will find a good home for these, probably in their pipe cabinet. Okay, this is part 1. Stand by for part 2. Okay, this is another round of pipes. None of these pipes except one belong to family, so I'll get going here. These are all pipes that I've acquired over the years. I've got some olive wood that I've recently acquired just in the last 10-15 years. They're very beautiful pipes. I don't think they smoke as well as the Briars, but that's just a personal opinion. There's a guy named Purcell who lives in St. Louis, and he runs a company called Crappy Pipes, and he calls it that not because the pipes are crappy, but he wants, at trade shows, people gravitate to that sort of thing to see what it's all about. So he's got I bought 4 from him. There's this, about the only one that's like in a spaceship, UFO type. Got that at the Las Vegas Pipe Show. There's one of my one of my few English pipes. This is Brumfit, John Brumfit. It's a nice smoke. Here's a couple of Conways. They're great smokes too. Here's a Nordine Freehand. I picked that up in the last couple of years. Smokes great. Joby's categorically are one of the best smokers that I've ever had. So I have a few Joby's. GBD, another great pipe. There's a Butch Sequin that I've bought in the last 2 years. I'll point out the ones that I've recently purchased. I just love that frosty top there on top of the blue bowl. There's a couple Italian made no names. Just made in Italy is stamped on them. Alright, and again, this is my rotation caddy, or pipe holder, made out of rugged wood. Here's my car kit. That is pipes that I keep in my car to smoke. And there's a couple of interesting ones here that were in my dad's collection also that he smoked. These little custom builds. These are little smaller rusticated custom belts. There's the only Sassini that I have, and there's no dots on it, so I looked it all up in the model, and it's a second from the 1950s. There's nothing second about it as far as I'm concerned. Okie doke. Interesting story here. Another pipe that basically my sister found that had been unsmoked, bought by my dad, was this Wally Frank, and it's rusticated now and very beautiful. John Hines did the modification on it. When it came out of the box, it was not rusticated, and it was not stained, so it was just a looks like you just carved it. And so anyway, I had John Hines, who, by the way, is retired from pipe making, but he lives out in Virginia, and I'll show you a couple more of his pipes here while we're on the subject of John Hines. I had all 3 of these commissioned, and they're all great smoking pipes. He did that work for me. Some interesting pipes here. Isn't that beautiful? Something about a beautiful grain. There's one of the few pulls that I have. There's a guy in Florida. He doesn't live there anymore. He ran Briarville, and I bought one of his company pipes a couple of years ago. There's a beautiful Genode, G-E-N-O-D. Some of these are no names, but boy, they're beautiful. This is an interesting one. I found it on the internet unsmoked, and it came from a pipe store that's no longer in business out in Pennsylvania, and it's marked Penn, P-E-N-N, so it's got to be, best I can gather, this pipe was a 50s pipe, 1950s. Here's a pipe I bought at one of the Chicago shows I went to. And it's got some interesting design on it. I have a friend named David, lives in Palm Springs, fellow pipe smoker. I met him at a pipe show in Las Vegas. He gifted me this pipe. It's beautiful. Here is a modern day Rop from France. I'll show you some more of my old Rop cherry woods in another video here. Here's the only calabash that I own. I bought this from a guy named Val who does restorations. Beautiful pipe. Here's an interesting one I got from Turkey. The guy that carves these pipes, he's an amazing guy. Just an absolute beautiful work of art. And I have not smoked it yet, and I do plan on smoking it. It's a little bit on the heavy side, but it's a beautiful meerschaum. Here is a Boswell pipe. It's got two stems. It's got a Churchwarden long stem, and you can see it fitted with the one it came with. Boy, that's a good smoking pipe. Now here's a pipe with a story. My dad gave me this. He said his father gave it to him. My dad never knew his grandfather, but his grandfather brought it over from Bavaria when they came. My Smith ancestors came over from Bavaria, Germany. So this Tyrolean pipe, I'm going to say, see, my great-grandfather was born in 1855, and he was in Ohio, and his father came over from Bavaria in the early 1800s. So this pipe is 215 years old. It's been passed down. I have smoked it. I've got a video out there on YouTube showing me smoking this pipe. Tyrolean from Bavaria. And beautiful. Okay, so there we have the second setting. And there are 54 pipes here. And the first video had 56, so we're up to over 100 pipes. You never realize just how many you have until you get them all out. And I'm happy to say that all of these pipes, save the Lion Meerschaum, have been smoked. All right, we'll go on to the next round. Okay, we're back for the last round here. These are what I call the workhorse pipes. I mean, gee whiz. Let's start with the Rops. These are cherry wood pipes made over in France. And I've had a few of those for many years. They last forever, by the way. Rop, R-O-P-P. Yep. Yeah, that's interesting. This is the Rop Supreme. Wow, what a burl, huh? And then I've got, these are my test pipes, you know, when I'm in a pipe lounge or whatever, testing tobaccos. So my regular pipes don't get ghosted. These are the hardwoods that I have. And they may look insignificant, but they're, you know, a very important type of pipe to have when you're testing new tobaccos out, so you don't ghost your pipe. Several of those. Now we get to the Cobs, of course, living large there with the General MacArthur. Here's a nice one. I like that one. We've got these two orange stemmed ones date back to the 70s. And I've had a few burn out, but these two have survived for almost 50 years. Okay, now here's some specialty pipes. They don't get much use because they're not great smokers. This one is, as you can see, carved as the chief. There's kind of an elegant looking one. This one is not meerschaum. It's I think I was going through a one of those smoke shops a few years back, and I felt, well, I better buy something. Here's a Hilson. This goes back to the 70s. That's got the Bakelite bowl, and it's meerschaum lined. There's a meerschaum, a little mini lion. Here's one that I get a lot of use out of. It's a great smoker. Probably the most interesting pipe, if you're going to say design. I found this on eBay unsmoked, and I thought, wow, you know what? That bowl looks like a Dunhill. Well, of course it's not. And of course you have the circulating stem there, and very cool smoke. I mean, really cool smoke. And I'm probably going to catch flack for this, but it smokes as well as my 1955 Dunhill does. So, interesting pipe. Now, you may ask, what was the last pipe you bought? And is it going to be your last pipe? Well, I keep saying this is the last pipe. I got this. It's a basket pipe, no name on it, over at Helio's Tobacco Lounge in Riverside, California, about a month ago. And I've been smoking it in the car. And there's nothing unusual about this pipe necessarily, but it does smoke great. As long as those holes are drilled right and you're getting a good draw, these briars will never let you down. Alright, fellas, in the pipe world and otherwise, I will get you a total count here of pipes that I own. Well, I forgot two pipes, and they're very important ones. The one on the bottom is a pipe my youngest son Jared, bought for me about the time he started smoking a pipe a few years ago. And I do appreciate that. And this church warden has been with me since the very beginning, and has been on some of my great hikes that I took in the late 70s when I was a younger man. Hiked the Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Maine, had this church warden with me. San Bernardino mountain hikes, I've had that with me. In fact, there's a picture that I have of me posing with this pipe in 1978. So there we go. And that's the rest of the story. Well, I thought I was done, and then I forgot I had some car pipes in my glove box. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this should be it, including the bottom one, which is a nice yellow bowl, and some other pipes that are basic. Well, there's one here that's quite old. That dates back to World War II. And let's see, anything else interesting? No, not really. But they're good mobile smoking pipes. You know, you want to light one up in the car. So that should do it. I'll come back with a total in just a minute. Okay, you know, I usually have a 5-pipe rotation. You know, I'll bring 5 pipes out, and I'll set them out in my man cave, smoking, which is my smoking porch out here. So I'll at different times have different pipes out. This is my birth year Dunhill. It's the only Dunhill pipe I own, and it's from 1955. I bought that in the last couple of years. I was searching long and hard for it. They're hard to find, especially this shape. This is a beautiful Canadian, 1955. Whether it was born before me in 55 or after July, we do not know. And here's here's, well, I'll just let you look at the pipes. It takes too long to identify them all, but they're all beautiful pipes. I do have some meerschaum pipes I smoke. I'll maybe try to get a collective picture of that later. But this is how I set myself up for a week or 10 days. I'll rotate my pipes and bring them out and smoke them. Now these are all old, out of production blends that I've been fortunate enough to collect throughout the years. So, I mean, we'll start left to right. First of all, there's the Holy Grail, Balkan Sobranie. And as I told you, I have a gentleman that's in Indiana that does a match blend of this. I wish I would have bought more Balkan Sobranie back in the 70s and just stored it, but I didn't. I smoked it. There is a Captain Black. That is original. This is a can from the 70s. Now these are the first two blends that I ever smoked. When I bought that first pipe, I bought a pouch of Middleton's Cherry Blend. I've got a container now that I bought sealed and full, and I've been working off that for a while. Then I transitioned into the Amphora blends. This is an out of production, the Rich Aromatic. They still sell Amphora, but it's not the same. Back when Dow Egberts produced it, it was quite a blend and great room note. And again, this was the first Balkan blend that I smoked, was the Balkan Sobranie. Here's an out of production John Wolfe. It's kind of got a little tongue bite on it, but if you sip it, it's pretty good. This is the peach brandy flavor. Peach brandy. Okay. This is an interesting blend. Brindleys. They made several kind of Brindleys. This is the 1960s Brindley mixture that had about 8% Latakia in it. It's a very interesting smoke. Now, some of these blends I've had to rehydrate over the years, and that's an easy process. It doesn't really take too much away from it. Here's the Choco blend that I was talking about, one of the first chocolate blends I ever saw out there. This is an early 60s, and it's still got some inventory left in it. Here's the Holy Grail for my folks. I should say my dad. My dad smoked only this blend, Crosby Square, long out of production. You'll never find another one out there unless you're lucky. This is my grandfather's favorite blend, Briggs, and he used this mixture also to roll cigarettes. So he rolled the Briggs pipe mixture as a cigarette. Interesting. These were from the early 70s. These are canisters of Borken Riff, the original whiskey and the original cherry. Nothing that they put out today that says Borken Riff matches these. And if anything, and you'll see, I've done some videos on how these have aged. Sometimes aromatics don't age significantly, but you don't get the overwhelming cherry on this or the overwhelming whiskey, but it's blended in there and it's a fine smoke. Here's an interesting one. I tried and it was just a little bit too hot for my palate, Flying Dutchman, but it's got an interesting taste to it. Beautiful tin work there. Flying Dutchman, long out of production. Hey guys, here's the Edgeworth that I've been able to find and smoke. These are all empty canisters now because I've either jarred them or smoked all of the contents. Here's a 1950s Edgeworth, and here's a 1960s. Here's one that is between 1950 and 60. It might be early 60s. This guy, of course, is much older. We're talking about 40s. But anyway, if you're interested in any of these canisters for display, let me know.
Byron, is everything all right? Byron.
Yes! Yes! Yes!